Well, hey, new Buckers, how the heck are you? I am trying to beer whisper. Hey, I got the one I just found. It is a collaboration between White River Brewing Company and Lindberg's, a classic tavern here in Springfield, Mo, in the original downtown of Springfield, which is Commercial Street. It's a area that kind of went rough for a while, and they've tried to revitalize it. It's kind of had some ups and downs, but the Lindbergh's Tavern has really helped in its revitalization. The Mahogany collaborated lager celebrates the relationship between two timeless, boy, I still can't read this, American classics, the local watering hole and its beloved counterpart, the lager. Anyway, I'm not going to get into the rest of it. Yeah, actually, it's called Mahogany Lager, so before I popped one, I almost expected it to be the color of a Vienna lager, to be honest with you, but it's not. It's a classic light lager. Had one the other day, so I know what I'm going to taste, but I want to share one with you. 4.5%. That they don't list IBUs, nor could I find any information about the particular grain bill. But I will tell you that the nose is rather sweet. The nose reminds me a lot of the crafting lager, if you've had that. That is an all malt lager, but they do use a combination of 2 row and 6 row, and it's kind of what I'm feeling here. I don't know if they add corn to this, but I do feel that they're using some 6 row. The weather is not cold here in the Ozarks, or is not warm here in the Ozarks, is what I meant to say. It is a little cold. This is really a warm weather beer, in my opinion. But yeah, it is what it is. I mean, it falls under that category. It is what it is. I guess they wanted a signature beer and felt that a macro West lager was the way to go. I don't know if I agree with that reasoning, but they know what their clientele is, so I'm sure they're right. I know if I was from out of town and happened to wander in there, saw they had a signature beer, I'd try it. Well, okay, I wish it was more. But then again, they're appealing to their clientele. So, however, having said all that, do I feel it's executed well for the type of beer it is? Yes, I do. I think it's done well. It is sweet, but I do feel I am feeling some 6 row malt in here. To be honest with you, I'm just guessing. I don't know what's in there, and I could be wrong, but but that's what I feel like I'm tasting. The nose is light, a little herbal, a little grassy, but it's not unpleasant. So that's why I don't feel that like there's a heavy use of corn, at least not cheap macro type corn anyway, because there's nothing unpleasant about this beer. Piney River collaborated with Mexican Villa a while back to do their Flying Ace Lager. Reminds me a lot of that. It's a very similar beer. So I guess that's kind of what they wanted, just an easy drinking. Sorry, I scratched my nose. I apologize profusely. I just can't help it sometimes. But the finish is cleaner than well than any. I was going to say most, but the finish is cleaner than any macro lager on the market. This was 7.98 a 6 pack, so it's a little more than most macros. Actually, about the same as the top tier macros. So I mean, if I would recommend you try this, even if you are a top tier macro drinker, I certainly recommend you try it because it is a little cleaner than what you're drinking, but the flavors are very similar. This is a beer I would think that folks that would go to Lindbergh's that typically drink the macros or macro lights might order something like this as their, as they're going out beer. A lot like folks in the '70s and early '80s ordered a Michelob. Weekends were made for Michelob. It was always referred to as high class Bud. When folks wanted a special beer, that's what they'd order. That's kind of what I imagine this beer to be for the macro drinker that wants to step out and not order their typical macro when they're out. There you go. They've got a signature beer on tap. How you do, Buckaroos? There it is. So there you go. White River does some fine beers. So I know it's crafted well. It's not necessarily what I was looking for or would be looking for, but it isn't offensive. I will say that. And if it was 100 degrees in August, yeah, sure, I could see pounding a 6 pack of this. I mean, it's only 4.5%. It'd be a perfect lawnmower beer. I could see it being that quintessential, excuse me, after work beer. You come in, you're hot and sweaty, you just want one you can knock back real quick. You might even drink it straight out the can. Oh my goodness! But yeah, I mean, that's kind of what a beer like this is for. Bless you. Wife just sneezed twice in a row, but I couldn't get that first bless you out in time as I was talking about the beer. Using my Bellican glass. So my wife found this for me. I don't know. I guess in about 5 years ago now at a Goodwill outlet store in St. Louis. But I haven't been able to track down the beer yet. I need a friend in Belize to send me a Bellican beer. It's been driving me crazy that I can't match the right beer to the glass. That kind of stuff just would. Anyways, I am trying to beer whisper. I hope you're all having a good one. I drink beer and I say stuff. That's what I do. Prolific beer drinker, purveyor of wisdom, BeerVangelist. Shazam! And all around good guy.